Inside this box is a little piece of electronics which is right down my aisle as far as my YouTube channel and my interests, little calculators and things. But I'm kind of conflicted about it because it's junk science, pseudoscience. That might offend some of you, but that's the way I feel about biorhythms, right up there with astrology. But it's still an interesting electronic device, and it does have an actual calculator on it, so we'll give it a slight pass for that. Follow the behavioral science of life energy rhythms. $25. This is a 1980 product, although it's kind of confusing on its date codes here. Get the Bio Edge. Quickly determine biorhythm data for any day, past, present, or future. Calculate the lifetime compatibility percentage between two people. Handy 4-function calculator too. It's durable, features vacuum fluorescent display. A little bit of redundancy there. Complete instruction book and carrying case. Custom made in Taiwan. Here's another thing. Now this one shows a date of 1981. The instruction book, however, has a 1979 date from Cosmos. And Cosmos, this will be interesting here in a bit. You'll see another Cosmos calculator. And it also says 1980 here on the back. Getting to the calculator itself, got a little vinyl slipcase, made in Taiwan, Radio Shack, and here it is. It's actually got a nice heft to it, feels very good in the hand, it's attractive, got some more little biorhythm things on the back. And once again, a 1980 date code. So I'm going to call this a 1980. Regardless of the thing on the box, it says 81. And the instruction manual, which says 79, we're going to call it an 80. You can pause your screen and read about Introduction to Biorhythms. Basically, the proposed concept is you have split your lifestyle into 3 sections, 3 energy cycles: the physical, the emotional or the sensitivity, and the intellectual. Physical's 23 days, the emotional or sensitivity is 28 days, which corresponds with the female menstrual cycle, and then the intellectual cycle is 33 days. And these always begin based on your birth date, according to the hokum science that they use. As you do calculations and you get numbers, they'll correspond with numbers on the sine wave up here at the top of the calculator. Red for physical, blue for sensitivity, green for intellectual. And so you can track your numbers here on the scale that way. One other thing I noticed on the box, it's kind of faint, it's hard to read, but on the box is, maybe you can see it, it says Genentech Inc. stock. Now my memory of Genentech was as a DNA company from quite a while back that decoded DNA maybe. And here's some more reading for you. Generally, the first top half is your energy days, bottom half is your energy recharge days, and points along the line are caution days. Things aren't going to go well in those areas. And then the peaks and the valleys of each of the 3 lines are mini caution days. You might have problems on those days too. Once again, according to the pseudoscience. Now, why do I keep calling it pseudoscience? I suppose some part of that is a personal belief, but other people, such as have been described in Wikipedia and Biorhythms, have studied the science, alleged science behind it, and come to the same conclusion that it's not real science. So let's take a look at that Wikipedia article for a minute. The Wikipedia article on biorhythms has a lot of references to their pseudoscientific status versus scientific status. It also has a photograph of the Cosmos 1. The Radio Shack one I'm showing is the Cosmos 2, which has another line here and came out a little later, I guess. They show a Casio and a Biomate, and they go through some of the critical views that show why it's failed the scientific studies. Studies can't be repeated. There's all kinds of problems with the studies, and additional studies supporting the classification of biorhythms as pseudoscientific. So this is a good article for more reading if you want to know about the pseudoscience classification of biorhythms. Okay, let's turn the calculator on for a minute. You can see that nice green vacuum fluorescent display. And we'll start with the best part of the calculator, that I might keep this out on my desk somewhere just for the calculator part. It's a nice display, and the calculator only has the basic 4 functions: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. But 8 digits, but it's nice. So I'm going to keep this and use it. Now, before we get into some of the biorhythm nonsense calculations, I want to point out that in the instructions, the validity of the biorhythms dates are only from January 1st, 1901 to December 31st, 1999. So we have serious Y2K issues here, or something else. I'm not sure what, but I have determined just for fun that the years 1964 and 1992 have the same day-date schedule as 2020, so I'm going to fiddle with dates in those years for our examples. And also, I'd like to point out that this was sold in the Radio Shack catalog as a novelty calculator right next to the astrological signs calculator. Well, that one was an extra $10. All right, to start showing an example of some of the biorhythm things, I'm going to enter a date, which would be similar as today's date. So, let's see, June 12th, 92, date. And that shows a number 5 at the end, which is Friday. The days of the week are marked on the back. As you can see, 5 is Friday. They start the week on Monday. Now let's say a birth date, and we'll pick a birth date in 1964 as B1. It'll be 2, let's say 21. These are not my birthdays or anybody, just pick them at random. 64. We'll call that B1 for birthday 1. And you'll notice there's a little doohickey up here on the screen. That's for whatever birthday 1 is picked. If you're doing birthday 2, it's down at the bottom and it's kind of upside down. So, now let's press the biorhythm for that. So there's our biorhythm numbers, 13, 8, and 11. And then you would look on the chart for where those come at. Are you in a good cycle? Or are you on a down cycle? Or worst of the worst, are you meeting at the line? That's the bad part. You don't want to meet at the line, apparently. There's a little chart in here that shows the good numbers and the bad numbers. So a 13, accident prone. 8 for emotional sensitivity, cheerful, cooperative, creative. And 11, it's the same thing. So you have those there. Then they get all these weird research indicates. I don't know what scam companies doing the research, but you can read some of this about bio-luck and births due to a mother's biorhythms days. The sex of children in number 9 appears to be biorhythmic. 10, aging is directly related to stress. Caution days. And they're just all kinds of things they relate to your biorhythms, sports injuries and things like that. And if any of you believe in these things, that's totally your right. Totally, of course. You're welcome to it. That just shows how to enter the things. Now let's compare another date. October 8th, 1964. We're going to call that birthday 2. Now you can see we have those sort of little upside down number there. And then there's that biorhythm for that person there. You can see those numbers are different, 11, 24, and 22. Now let's see if I can B1, B2, and then compare them. So now these are the numbers for the two individuals compared. Like you want to see how symbiotic they are, how good of a match they are. And it's based on 100%. So physically they're going to be about the same, pretty close to the time, 83, and sensitive schedule only 14% of the time, and intellectually 33% of the time. So that's how you compare different people by their birth dates. And this all has to do with birth date. Very similar to the astrological things. And these, obviously, there was a run on this, I'm going to say pseudoscience, between 1979 and 1981, just as the dates on all these suspect, based on some books that were written at the time. And although the concept had been around for, probably over 100 years. It just became popular again, 1979, 1980, etc. So, there's various things you can do. I think it's a very interesting device. I'm glad I have it. I'm going to keep it. but I'll probably use it as a just as a calculator, of course. I've got no interest in biorhythms, but maybe you do. And you can pick up, I think the Wikipedia article showed Casio. Look for something like that. And of course nowadays everybody has the app on their phone, and you can get computer programs too. So that's the Radio Shack Biorhythm Calculator EC314 from 1980. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Bye.